And welcome back to the Engage 8 podcast. We're going to be going through the top 10 quarterbacks and then some outliers, according to 24/7, on what guys, where they're going next season, what quarterbacks are going where, and everything. We're going to be starting out with our boy, Sam Hartman. Sam Hartman played at Wake Forest for the past, 5 years of his career. Was a 3-star as a prospect, according to 24/7 Sports. 21 ranked pro-style quarterback, 8th in South Carolina. Right now, he was the number one QB in the transfer portal rankings, 5th overall. 6'1.5", 186. Take a look at his stats. We're not going to be looking at game film, but if you are really intrigued, to go watch the game film. Sam Hartman's one of those guys that I encourage to go watch the game film on because he had A.T. Perry, but man, he was something special at Wake Forest. Wake Forest would not have had as much success without this guy. Imagine they had Kenneth Walker too. That would have been crazy, but his last 2 seasons have been really good. He didn't play as much last year. He took the first couple of weeks off because of personal matters. But still, he's a phenomenal quarterback. He's going to Notre Dame. Tommy Rees left. Marcus Freeman entering his second year as the head coach. Ty Buckner transfers out because that's Sam Hartman's job now, and Ty Buckner might now go be the starting quarterback at Alabama, which we can get into. And when I'm still trying to get through all these spring games, collect my thoughts, write them all down about teams that going into next season. I know I did Ohio State and Michigan State, but I want to be a little bit more collective, possess more thoughts, take a few more notes on teams. But this guy, he could be doing something special at that place. Well, we'll see what happens. I like Sam Hartman. Think he's a really good quarterback. But yeah, next guy, Devin Leary. Devin Leary did not play as much last year, but if you go look at his junior season, or not his junior, the 2021 season, because all these quarterbacks just have endless amount of eligibility. As I pull up his stats. So last year, he gets hurt in the middle of the season. They start playing guys like Mo Morris and end up getting down to their 4th-string quarterback, which you don't want to have happen necessarily as an ideal coach. But take a look at his 2021 season. 283 for 431, 65 completion percentage, 3,433 yards on 8 yards per attempt with 35 touchdowns and 5 interceptions with a 157 rating. That's something that you really can't beat. He's going to Kentucky, going to fill Will Levis's spot. Mark Stoops, yeah, that's his name. He's getting a really good quarterback. They got a ton of explosive playmakers on the outside on that Kentucky team. We'll be able to also see, what they possess when we get to them. We got until August 26th to talk about all these teams. That's 90-something days. We got it. I think that might be 100. So my plan is to get through all the Power 5 teams, and then if there's a Group of 5 team that I'm really intrigued to see this upcoming season or something in that regard, then we'll talk about it. But we're going to try to get through every Power 5 team at the bare minimum. But like I said, Devin Leary, if this kid doesn't get hurt for NC State, people are calling this team there's some homers out there and guys like Big Game Boomer, saying that NC State's going to be a college football playoff team. He also thought that Utah was going to be a college football playoff team as well, which if they don't lose some games, they beat USC twice, so USC is a good football team. I think this NC State team would have had more team success if this kid stays healthy throughout the season, but now that he's moving on and going to Kentucky, stuff's about to get different there. Gotta keep going back to this. We want top. Number 3 guy, Hudson Card. Back up to Quinn Ewers, man. Quinn Ewers, he's a special player. Don't really, nothing really else to say other than that. Was a 4-star out of high school. Number 4 dual threat. Number 10 Texas, 70 nationally. He is currently a junior. He's going to Purdue. Purdue, they just lost Aiden O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell ended up getting drafted to, I forget what team, but I know he ended up he's at least on an NFL team right now. Will he be in the coming months? We'll see. But he doesn't really have anything possessed too much in his career stats. This past season when he came in that Alabama game, So there's that. But I mean, 75 for 108, 69 completion percentage, 928 yards, 8.6 yards per attempt, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception with a 158 quarterback rating. I mean, he's a decent dual threat. I don't think he possesses too much with his legs, to be honest. I don't think that's going to be something that you're going to see too much at Purdue. I don't think he's an explosive guy like a Jaden Milroe. As we'll talk about Alabama in the near future, as you can see, tabs pulled up. But I mean, he's gonna be a good Big Ten West. He might be the best quarterback in the Big Ten West. Him or Malik Caliclix, I forget, the quarterback from Minnesota. I mean, there's Jeff Sims too. There's a bunch of guys on this in the Big Ten West that have solid quarterbacks. I don't think Cade McNamara is going to be up there. Whoever Northwestern throws at quarterback, I don't think they're going to be up there. Iowa's not Iowa. What's the other Big Ten? Tanner Mordecai could actually be up there too. I believe he's in this top 10 list. But I mean, Hudson Card, I mean, he hasn't really been given a fair opportunity. He had Casey Thompson over him in 2021. Casey Thompson ended up transferring out because they have this guy named Quinn Ewers comes in. Casey Thompson goes to Nebraska, and then Casey Thompson deals with a bunch of injuries, and Jeff Sim transfers in also to Nebraska, and Casey Thompson says, I'm leaving, and he's going to FAU, going to Boca Raton. So there's that. But yeah, I mean, I'm actually really intrigued to see this Hudson Card play out for the Boilermakers this season. Boilermakers always seem to have a pretty good passing offense through the past couple of years, so we'll see. Shedeur Sanders, okay, this is a very interesting situation. So, plays at Jackson State last year for his dad. He's coming into Colorado. Well, I've watched their spring game tape. I just haven't gotten a chance to record an episode yet because I've been taking a look at a couple other things like who's on the roster, who's transferring in and out, because it's a whole chaotic situation there in Boulder. But 4-star, number 4 quarterback in the transfer portal ranking, so it's 37th quarterback out of high school, Trinity Christian, pretty well-known high school in Texas. Take a look. I'm wondering if they do have his stats on here. I honestly did not look. Oh, probably because I can't spell his name right. What? Oh. Shedeur Sanders, Jackson State Tigers. Well, now he's on Colorado, obviously. I think they need to switch that. But yeah, I mean, it's 2 seasons at Jackson State. He's been phenomenal. I get it. It's lower competition. It's an FCS level team. But looking at his tape, and looking at him in the spring game, like, he's a very mature quarterback. Like, he has the possibility of getting drafted this season. I think that's a huge possibility. And, the Pac-12, until USC and UCLA, they're in their last years. But that league's still going to be good with Oregon, Washington, Oregon State. I think Washington State could be a solid team to come around for a few years. Utah's an awesome team. Shout out Kyle Whittingham. But, Shedeur, he's good. He's a smart quarterback. He knows what reads to make. He knows what he needs to do with his feet sometimes. He knows when to throw that deep ball. He's going to always have playmakers around him because if you're a guy, you're going to be like, yeah, I want to go play with Shedeur. I'm going to get so much spotlight at Colorado. Like, they're going to get a bunch of big-time guys. What the offensive line is going to – how he reads like blitzes, a better pass rush when he's playing at higher competition, and Colorado might not have the best offensive linemen considering it is their first year, and a lot of first-year offensive linemen they don't get to build up in this scheme from Colorado. We'll see what happens. That's gonna be a big test for sure. But I'm excited to see Shedeur, man. Shedeur gonna ball, bro. That's for sure. Number 5, Colin Schleal. Honestly, didn't know him until he entered the transfer portal back in around, or when he committed to UCLA back in like January, February time. He was the number 30th pro style quarterback out of his class. Which what year did he? I don't know. What year did he go? So he he signed 2018. So he's class of 2019. Okay. 13th player in Maryland, 5th ranked quarterback. I haven't honestly seen too much on Colin Schleal. But I know enough to where, okay, can I actually just not spell his name? Struggling here today, guys. Not Colin Sexton. Yeah, I mean, Kent State was solid this year. They gave Georgia a bunch of trouble. They gave Georgia a bunch of trouble in their game. He really didn't play till last year. In 266 attempts, he had a 59 completion percentage for 2,100 yards, 7.9 yards per attempt, 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He's got dual threat ability, which, I mean, will he even start for UCLA next year, or are they going to have Dante Moore come in and come play for them? That's something we don't know. But I will say he has produced enough numbers to show, and I guess we got to watch UCLA spring game too and see what's going on in that whole regard. But still, I mean, he's a pretty good. He seems like a solid quarterback. You know what? Let's pull up some film on Colin Shield. Actually, I'll take a look in my spare time. Or I guess we could take a look. No. Because this is a podcast. This ain't a whole YouTube episode. We'll save that for a different time. Yeah. But I mean, I'll take some look at some stuff on him. He's not someone that's been on my radar. We don't want receivers. Walker Howard, transferred out of LSU, freshman. I mean, yeah, that LSU room, they got Nussmeier and they got Jaden Daniels. And Jaden Daniels is staying for another year. Whether they use Nussmeier or use Jaden Daniels, we don't know. That's something that's not going to really be coming forward for us. But what I will say is he's got a tough reloaded room at Ole Miss. He may not play this year. He's a solid quarterback. I've seen some stuff on him. He seems pretty decent. But you also got Spencer Sanders, and you also have Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart probably deserves to be the starting quarterback again. Jackson Dart was one of my favorite players to watch last year in the first 6 weeks. Now, when they actually got into SEC play, and the tough gauntlet of that schedule, he didn't show up as much. That was more the Zach Evans and Quinshon Judkins show, and didn't really perform too well under the lights. They struggled against lower level D1 teams, FBS, but still, I mean, give this kid a shot. There's gonna be minimal room for error in that Ole Miss quarterback room, and they're gonna need to have people step up right behind them if people don't perform at the plate. But there's a whole summer to still go through. Game's not for 3 months. See what happens. Number 7, Brennan Armstrong. He's going to NC State now. They definitely need a quarterback. The only quarterback that really showed any promise for me was Bo Morris. I thought he was a solid quarterback. Brennan Armstrong was the number 121 dual threat prospect, quarterback out of his class, which if we take a look, would be 2018? Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, it's his last year most likely, unless he has the Sean Clifford eligibility role, which he might. Sorry. I love making jokes. But, I mean, I've seen some stuff. He didn't play great last year. That's for sure. But if you look at his 2020 and 2021 seasons, definitely the best production he's put up over his career, especially that 2021 season. I mean, people thought Brennan Armstrong was a sleeper to be like not a Heisman candidate, but probably an O'Brien candidate. I mean, the numbers were great. I mean, maybe clean up the interceptions, but last season is just not who he was. And I mean, that Tony Elliott ran program was terrible last year, and they also had other things off the field that got in the way of football. So you got to also take that into account as well. But still, I think Brennan Armstrong, he's getting a clean slate at NC State. He's got a ball out for his last year. He's probably hoping to get drafted. He's definitely got the tools. I mean, he's 6'2", 215. He's got a little bit of dual threat ability too. But I mean, if he could just show that he really wants to, if he really just ups his poise, I think that's the best thing for Brennan Armstrong. Upping his poise, showing why, maybe he's worth a 3rd round pick. I think that's probably his ceiling as of right now, but we shall see. Tanner Mordecai, one of my favorite players to watch last year at SMU. If you go watch that Houston SMU game, that game was phenomenal to watch. Number 11 dual threat quarterback out of his class. I'm assuming he's the class of 2018. He transfers from Oklahoma to SMU. because he doesn't get playing time at Oklahoma because he's behind guys like Caleb Williams and Spencer Rattler. So he said, "Hey, I'm gonna get up and out of here," which I mean I would have too, to be honest. And then I mean last year when they had Dylan Gabriel, he transferred last year, right? Oh no, he transferred 2020. Never mind. Okay. So that was Spencer Rattler, Caleb Williams. Spencer Rattler transfers to South Carolina. Caleb Williams transfers to USC. And then they have Dylan Gabriel from UCF. Yeah. UCF transfer in, which if you don't know UCF's starting quarterback right now, John Rhys Plumlee, he's phenomenal. If he pops up on your TikTok For You page, remember the name. Bro's a stud. He shows up to spring. He shows up from his baseball game to the spring game on a golf cart on campus, and then it's just crazy. He's a solid quarterback too. UCF was fun to watch last year, but anyways, yeah, Tanner Mordecai. I mean, he was really good at SMU, especially last year. I mean, he's not necessarily going to be someone that's going to put up very appealing numbers in some games, but I mean, when he's on, bro, he's on. I mean, his 2021 was awesome too. Both these years, I mean, 30-plus touchdowns with only 12 picks or less. I mean, 150-plus rating, above 65 completion percentage. I mean, there's nothing to complain. 8 yards per attempt. He's not much of a dual threat guy. That's fine. You don't need that out of a quarterback, especially if you're going to Wisconsin, because if you've seen the quarterback that's been lining up under center for them the past 2 years, it's definitely an upgrade. I mean, there's a reason why he's going to Florida, and he still might not win the job at Florida. I'm talking about Graham Mertz here. But, I mean, he's going to definitely need to, I don't know, that Wisconsin team, I can't wait to really take a deep dive into them, because you got Braylon Allen, which is one of the best running backs in the nation. He should be one of the best running backs in the nation next year. He'll probably get drafted. He probably will go to the draft next year. He's going to be a part of that Melvin Gordon, Jonathan Taylor. He's going to be a part of that conversation of great Wisconsin running backs, or he should. His freshman year was awesome. Last year, Wisconsin was a little shaky. I think it's due to their quarterback, and I mean their head coach got fired midseason too. So you got to also take a look at from that perspective. But with Luke Fickell, probably a top 10, top 15 coach in the nation. You get Phil Longo, who just made Drake May look like an absolute stud, and this kid's 23, 24, and he's proven to be good at a high level too. He's gonna be a recipe for success as long as they got receivers to throw to, which they should. It's Wisconsin; they recruit, even though they don't get the best rated recruits or the best national recruits. They're gonna get guys that they can get to throw the ball to. They're gonna have good tight ends too. They're gonna have a really good offensive line. And they're going to be an all-around solid team next year, and I can't wait for when they win the Big Ten. I'm calling it right now. You heard it here first. KJ Podcast. Yeah. I mean, I might sound a little bit overconfident, but guess what? I don't really care. Oh, this next guy, DJ Uiagalelei. Oh, man. Wait, what? Okay, so number 1 rated pro prospect out of the country. Still 9th on the transfer portal. This guy, man. Okay. I was a DJ believer at first. I'm not going to lie with you. I'm not going to be one of those people that are like, oh, yeah, I didn't believe in DJ. Because if you look at his game at Notre Dame during the COVID season, even though they didn't win in the regular season, he played a really good game. You know what? We'll pull it up. At least from my memory. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe you could be like, nah, you tripping, bro. But pull up the game log. Load, you slow thing. Yeah, I mean, 29 for 44 for 439 yards and 65 completion percentage. 2 touchdowns. 164, 89 QBR. And he goes to have a great game the next week against Boston College, too. They still have a really close game. Why? I don't know. I mean, they had Travis Etienne and a bunch of other guys. Justin Ross, they had a bunch of players, too. They shouldn't be playing that close with teams. But, like I said, I had high promise from this guy coming out of his 2020 season. Took out his 2021. 2021, way worse than this year. We can all agree on that. And we don't want to look at all the games because it's just embarrassing. But, yeah, I mean, definitely one of the worst years last year from a Clemson quarterback, and it's probably the worst Clemson quarterback in a long time. So, I mean, because he had Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence. So, yeah, DJ, I mean, he didn't play bad last year. Still didn't really have any downfield. The thing with DJU is his downfield ability has not shown since his sophomore year or his freshman year, whatever. When Cade Klubnik comes in the game and looks the same and can just do the same thing with the tools that are in front of him and win the ACC championship game, they won that game, right? I'm not just going crazy. Yeah, well, let me just fact check. Yeah, they won that game pretty convincingly, too. That's what I thought would happen. Just let me have my minute. But, I mean, like, I just don't think he was a Clemson quarterback either. He's from the West Coast, and he just really, like, he's going to be a good Oregon State quarterback. He's not going to have to do too much. Oregon State's a very disciplined and they're the Iowas of the Pac-12. That's the best way to describe them. They're a solid football team that plays really safe. 6'4", 251. I mean, he's still got a chance to get drafted, too. Don't let that put him past him. So, I don't know. He's got the tools. All he needs to do is refine his mechanics, get into a new relationship with different coaching staff. But we'll see what happens with him. I mean, I'm pretty entertained at the idea of him going to Oregon State. I thought it was really random, especially because his brother committed to Oregon. And then the last guy, we got Spencer Sanders. Love this kid. Probably, honestly, I take him over Jackson Dart right now. He's in his last year. No, I don't want to do a survey. Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma State, the first 7 weeks of the season last year, was a treat to be a part of. I'll say that. Bro, Spencer Sanders is better than that stupid pitcher for the freaking Tigers. I'm sorry. Tigers are the most inconsistent team ever. Like, he's a really good... Oh, what the heck?
And only pay for what I need.
Now I'm in charge.
Okay. Well,
Introducing my plan from Verizon. You get
No. Okay. We're not going to listen to that. Let me go back to that. Jeez. This is like 101 podcasting right here. It's okay. All right. Let's try this again. Yeah. I mean, great dual threat. Probably his best season. Let me say this. He's not the greatest statistical passer, but he makes some important passes throughout games. And that Oklahoma State team, he's going to thrive better in an Ole Miss situation. You get better talent, better running backs. It's just better everything. All you got to do is just show up and go play. I mean, obviously, easier said than done. You can't just show up to Ole Miss and be like, yeah, I'm the starting quarterback. But I don't know, man. Spencer Sanders, he's very appealing to watch on tape. I'll say that. Other guys, as we wrap this up, to look at, Jess Sims is a guy that's going to be really, I think he's going to be really good. I liked him at Georgia Tech from what I saw from him. He's going to do good things at Nebraska. Matt Rule, first season, gets pretty good quarterbacks on his hands. There's a reason why Scott Frost got fired. Luke Altmaier, Tommy DeVito's back next year, I'm assuming. So that's going to be interesting to see that situation play out. I guess we're going to have to keep up on the Illini football for Tom Fornelli. But, yeah, I mean, they're going to be a good team. They're going to be a defensive unit next year. I feel like that's going to be what they're known for. Nick Evers is a guy that I liked when I initially saw him. He was one of the early enrollees. He also went to Wisconsin. He'll probably be the 2. He's only a freshman, so Malik Hornsby was really weird to see enter the portal. Caden Slovis going to BYU. That could be a good fit there, especially because they just had Jaren Hall leave. Cade McNamara to Iowa. A lot of people are praising this. Be like, oh my God, Cade's going to go be the next. He's going to be the greatest Iowa quarterback ever. Like, that's probably not a compliment, to be honest. But, I mean, last year at eligibility, man. Let's see what he does. I mean, he led that Michigan team. He was the quarterback for that team that went to the college football playoff for the first time in that school's history. So will he do it with Iowa? No, he won't. Drew Pine, I mean, he played for Notre Dame when Tyler Buckner got hurt last year. See what happens with that, but I don't know. He's going to Arizona State. It's going to be him and Jaden Rashada, so see what that. Ben Bryant going to Northwestern. I guess Tyler Buckner to Alabama. I'll debrief more about that at a different time in the near future. Okay, Jack Plummer to Louisville is something that really intrigues my mind. Louisville, they just lose Malik Cunningham. They get a new head coach in Jeff Brown for Purdue. Jeff Brown just had Aiden O'Connell, who was really successful in his offense. I mean, they had Charlie Jones and what's the receiver? David Bell. But Jack Plummer, baby. Go watch his Cal tape. Look at his stats. He's a good quarterback. Phil Yurkovich, pretty good quarterback out of Boston College. He's going to Pitt now. Casey Thompson to FAU. I mean, he's going really low. He's going to a lower level. Probably shine. You should. He's a good quarterback. Peyton Thorne. Peyton Thorne. We have beef, my brother. I'm sorry. Whatever. I wouldn't know. Honestly, I wish nothing for him for the best at Auburn because Robbie Ashford, he's going to go take that spot, boy. Ben Finley, he was one of the backup quarterbacks for NC State, going to play at Cal now. Going to go fill that Jack Plummer role, maybe. Haynes King. Oh, God. Not very good at Texas A&M, to be honest. There's a reason why Weigman was preferred over him. And, well, let's go see what he does at Georgia Tech under Brent Key, I guess. Is there any other noticeable names? Chance Nolan, he was a good quarterback for Oregon. He's going to TCU now. Emory Jones, he's going to Cincinnati from Arizona State. Oh, Jack Tuttle, you played a whole 3 snaps in your career. All right, there's nothing really else. All right, so that's going to be about the quarterbacks. If I had to do my own rankings, I'll assess that for another time. I'll do my transfer portal rankings probably in June. In June, Flights month, All right, thank you for watching this episode. Stay tuned for the next one.